On Sunday, the Arizona Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett reached an agreement for a new contract that will pay Jacoby Brissett $15 million and up to 21 million, 15 million guaranteed dollars and 21 million dollars total if he meets all of his incentives. This is great for the Arizona Cardinals because this distraction that has has clouded this entire offseason with the Jacoby Brissett holdout. It's over now. All the storylines can be about about the players on the field and how they're playing football, which is going to be great, except for the fact that the Cardinals have the lowest odds to win the Super Bowl. They're far and away the worst team in this NFC West division. They're likely going to pick in the top 5 at the end of the season because of how hard their schedule is. But it's a great sign that the Cardinals finally got it done. Should they have just gotten this contract done in June before OTAs and before mandatory minicamp? Absolutely. And it's a shame that they didn't get it done and that this was a storyline for the entire offseason. I wouldn't say it set Jacoby Brissett back, but if you wanted to field the absolute best team you could have this year, re-signing Jacoby Brissett to a better deal than his $1.5 million guaranteed should have been a much higher priority this offseason after the Cardinals struck out on guys like Malik Willis. They were reportedly linked to Aaron Rodgers, but that didn't end up happening. So once they struck out on all the other quarterbacks that were on the market, there should have been a lot stronger push to re-sign Jacoby and get everything buttoned up going into the offseason. But that did not happen because this is the Arizona Cardinals and we run a joke of an organization. And if you wanted to play the holdout game with Jacoby Brissett, then you should have just said, okay, Jacoby, see you later. You should have just said that because if you didn't feel like if it was worth fighting Jacoby Brissett for a contract and then you end up paying him the full $15 million, which it seemed like I'm sure Jacoby wanted 20 and I'm sure the Cardinals wanted to pay him 10. And so if the $15 million number was right there the whole time and you were just too stubborn to pay it, then you should have just let him go and let Gardner start and let Carson Beck get a hold of the reins halfway through the season, which might be exactly what happens with Jacoby Brissett anyway. They might play Jacoby 8 games, and then if the Cardinals are 2-6, then they say, hey, guess what, Jacoby, Carson Beck's going to be playing for the rest of the season. And, I mean, Jacoby Brissett could easily get injured, which for Jacoby, getting that $15 million is nice because that protects him in case he does get injured this season, which is really good for him. I'm super happy for Jacoby Brissett. He seems like, and here's the thing is that it seems like everyone in the locker room wanted Jacoby Brissett to be the starter day one. I mean, you look at Michael Wilson and you look at Marvin Harrison Jr. and you look at Trey McBride. All 3 of those guys appeared to want Jacoby Brissett as a starting quarterback. And then you had Budda Baker go out and publicly say, hey, Cardinals, let's get this thing done. Let's resign Jacoby so we can be the best team that we can be this season. Cardinals didn't do that. Cardinals waited until honestly the last minute and then eventually relented and paid Jacoby what I don't know if Jacoby deserves the $15 million, but if you did go out and tell him he was going to be the starting quarterback of this team in May, then you should have also attached a number to that and said, here, you're our starter. We're going to pay you like one. And now that he has been paid like one, Mike LaFleur went out and said, during OTAs, he never specifically stated that Jacoby was going to be the starting quarterback and that there was never a plan for Jacoby to automatically be QB1 going into this season, but on Sunday after the deal was done, Mike LaFleur said that the intention is to get Jacoby Brissett ready to be the day one starter when they kick off the season against the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said San Diego there. And so uh, just like we all kind of thought would happen, we thought that the Cardinals would eventually cave to Jacoby and give him what he wanted. And that Jacoby Brissett was going to be the day one starter. And that has happened. And I don't know why it didn't happen 2 months ago, but I'm glad that it at least happened now, because if the Cardinals are going to surprise teams this season, then it's going to be with Jacoby Brissett playing under center. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be because Carson Beck wins the job and becomes an immediate day one contributor as a rookie and leads the Cardinals to an over 500 season and into the playoff race. I don't think it's going to be that. If the Cardinals are 9-7 at the end of the season and have a chance to win a 10th game and make their way into the NFC wild card as like the 6th or the 7th spot, it's going to be because Jacoby Brissett is one of the more and has been one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League, and has utilized this Cardinals skill room to its highest level, whether that's using Marvin Harrison Jr. and him reaching his top wide receiver in the league level, whether that's Trey McBride continuing to put up historic numbers as a tight end. Jeremiah Love gets going. They utilize James Conner and or Tyler Algier. Then you also look at Michael Wilson, who had a breakout season last year. You look at Mike LaFleur bringing in this new offense that is going to hopefully help push the Cardinals into one of the best offenses in football, because that's really what for the Cardinals to be a playoff team, it's going to be because their offense, they have like a top 5 to 10 offense in football, and the defense is close enough to average. And Jacoby Brissett is the guy who goes down and wins them football games at the end of games. That's really where this Cardinals team has a chance to be a surprise team in the NFL. And it's being in these one-score games and being able to win the games that, let's be honest, Kyler Murray just wasn't able to win consistently throughout his career, which is the Cardinals are down. They're down 4 with 2 minutes to go, and they need to go down and score a touchdown. Jacoby was in a few of those drives last season and wasn't able to get the job done as well. So I don't want to make it sound like, oh, Jacoby is definitely that guy, because last year he was in situations where he could have gone down and won the game for the Cardinals, but he didn't. In games against the Jaguars and the Colts, I think, are the two that come to mind immediately. They had chances to win those games late, and Jacoby wasn't able to get it done. And hopefully with better coaching and a new system and a new star running back in the backfield, this offense can put up a lot of points this season and surprise a lot of teams in the NFL. And honestly, the more I look at this Cardinals offense, if that right side of the offensive line is not dreadful like it was last season, and this offensive line gets back to being one of the best offensive lines in football like it has been the previous 2 years before the 2025 season, then you look at the Cardinals and say they might not be the worst team in the division, because we've seen when Brock Purdy or Matthew Stafford go down that the 49ers and the Rams usually go back and fall back to a 500 or a below 500 team without their main star players at quarterback. So you're only one quarterback injury away from not even being the worst team in your division, potentially, if you're the Cardinals. And the 49ers oftentimes have a high level of injuries. The Rams are getting a little bit older. I mean, you look at if a couple guys on that defense, which is incredible, go down, or if Stafford goes down, or if you have a guy like Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams, if one of those guys goes down early in the season, it really it really will test the depth of the Rams or the depth of the 49ers if Brock Purdy or Kittle or a guy like Fred Warner gets injured again, or any of these possibilities. And the Seahawks have definitely taken a step back as well because when you win a Super Bowl, guys go out and get paid, and usually you come back a whole lot worse the next season. So I wouldn't even be surprised if the Seahawks finished third third in the NFC West next year. So as good as the division is, there are cracks in the dam that the Cardinals can exploit if they're able to, if Jacoby Brissett is actually the answer quarterback and they're able to uh, score a lot of points and be at least average-ish on defense. If they're average-ish on defense, then this Cardinals team could surprise some teams and definitely go well over their expected win loss over under, and they could be sneakily one of the most exciting teams in the NFL to watch just because they might have a really good offense and might not have a great defense. So maybe the way you watch Cardinals games this year, bet the over, enjoy the ride. If they win, great. If they lose, just a better draft pick for us to pick a special quarterback in the draft next season. And if you look at college football, there's a lot of exciting young football prospects that are out there. So it's going to be interesting to watch how this Cardinals preseason develops, especially how they utilize Carson Beck, how they utilize Jacoby Brissett. How many reps does he get during the preseason? Because hopefully they get him a lot of reps because he's going to need as many reps as possible in this new offense. So I'm looking for Jacoby Brissett to play a ton in the preseason. We'll see if that actually happens or not. And if we get to see a fully loaded Cardinals roster at any point during the preseason. Some other good news is that Harris Johnson Jr. was taken off the physically unable to perform list, and he's back in practicing. It was just maintenance. Hopefully the same can be said for the other guys on the physically unable to perform list. And hopefully there's lots of buzz and highlights coming out of Cardinals training camp. Despite the incredibly low expectations this season, I'm sneaky excited because I don't think this Cardinals team is going to be good, but I think this team might be pretty entertaining to watch now that Jacoby Brissett is back in the fold and that they're going to be able to at least score a adequate amount of points in football games.